everyone. So welcome to our video. We are gonna talk about variations of different pronunciation in different cultures and language. Language is not only words, but also pronunciation, tone, and particular dialects. All of these parts of a language are shaped by culture. Culture, meanwhile, is influenced by shared experiences, environment, and history. So, let us take you through a brief analysis on different pronunciations in different languages. So here is the introduction. This is the table of content. It is in the four part. First is the introduction where I'll be introducing you with the different dimensions of the whole topic, touching small things briefly. Secondly, I'll be taking you to a brief idea about pronunciation. In the third part, I'll be concluding the things, and finally, we'll be ending with the fourth part. So let's go for the introduction. So it is variation of different pronunciation in different cultures and language. Okay. So as you know, different cultures have different pronunciation. Like a particular language in different places, like in English, a tone of British English in India and tone of British English in Britain will be different. So that is the cultural difference or geographical difference you can say. So let us introduce you with the first line. Each language has its own set of sounds and rules. Like for blending them, therefore, pronunciation differs considerably between cultures. Like understanding these differences is essential, becomes very efficient or essential for efficient communication. If you won't understand those differences, you won't be able to communicate well with the people of different culture, and it helps in the bridge building process. People from diverse linguistic culture or the geographical places, if you won't understand them, you won't be able to understand. So let us introduce to a brief idea about pronunciation. So how are pronunciations different? So there are the certain some actual facts on which the pronunciation depends a lot. First is the sounds. So obviously different languages have different sounds that may not exist in other languages too. Like a particular syllable sound in English does not may not exist in other languages. Here I can show you th sound in English, as in you using the and this does not exist in many other languages. Second comes to stress. Like different languages obviously have different patterns of stress. Like emphasizing on certain syllables in a word, if you will emphasize, you'll see that. For example, stress is typically on the second to last syllable, whereas in English, stress can fall only on syllable depending on the word. And the third thing, like after the sounds and stress, tones become important too. Like in Mandarin, example, changing the tone of a word can completely change its meaning. Okay, like a simple thing, you can say a particular word acha. Okay, there is a word acha in Hindi, and if you will use it in a sarcastic way, like acha, then both of the acha have a different meaning, and I mean, acha has a lot of meanings if you will change the tone. So now we will come. So it might have been interesting. So now we'll come to intonation. Languages also differ in terms of intonation, like how your voice rise and how your voice actually fall. How you take your pitch and how you lower it. Okay, for example, some languages use rising intonation to indicate a question, while others use falling intonation, and some might use both of them combined too. Now we come to the mouth and tongue position. So definitely, for example, the R sound in French is produced in the back of the mouth. Like if you produce the R sound in French, it will be produced by the back of the mouth. While it's in English, it is produced at the front. So these are the differences which leads to different pronunciation. Like these are the certain facts which makes pronunciation different. So let's move ahead. So now we'll be analyzing different languages. First comes Bengali. So Bengali uses tone to distinguish. Bengali uses tone to distinguish between different words or meanings. It is not found in different languages like Mathli, Hindi, or Telugu. Okay, Bengali has an special or elaborate use of O. Okay, so you'll be finding Bengali people adding O in every E. Whenever there will be a, for example, Sapna in Hindi will become Sapna. Like you say na in Hindi. like मैंने सपना देखा. So when it comes in Bengali, it becomes Sopno. Sapna is called dream in English. Okay. So that is the elaboration of O in Bengali. Now we come to Mathli. Okay. So Mathli is mainly spoken in Bihar and some parts of UP and Pubanchal and many some parts of Jharkhand too. So it is a very sweet language. Now, Mathli has a number of unique sounds not really found in other Indian languages. It has a some technical retroflex lateral approximant things. These sounds are not actually present in Bengali, Hindi, or Telugu. Now we come to the most spoken language in India. Hindi has a number of vowel sounds that are not present in Bengali, Mathili, or Telugu, including a central vowel represented by the symbol. Now, additionally, Hindi has a system of aspirated and unaspirated consonants, which can affect the way the words are pronounced. So, Hindi has a lot of complexities in it. Now, we'll be moving on after Bengali, Mathili, and Hindi to the lateral, more complex word, that is Telugu. It is a Dravidian language, so obviously it will have a lot of complexities. Additionally, Telugu has a system of short and long vowels. Like in English, you know, na, there are 5 vowels, and there is no concept like short and long vowel. It becomes like in Telugu, it has system of short and long vowels, which can affect the rhythm and timing of speech actually. When you will talk to Telugu speakers, you'll understand that. So let's move ahead. Now we move on to now we move on to the differences between Mathili and Hindi. So two majorly spoken language, Mathili and Hindi. So now the word CHH in Hindi, like if you'll speak, it will be like chase. So it has a very softer and decent, swift version like chase. When it comes to Mathili, like C double H becomes cha, like chelai, ye chelai. So it has a very like impactful or heavy version like chel, che, cha. It comes like cha, and in Hindi it is like che. So similarly goes with th. When it comes to Hindi, it is a very soft spoken word. But when it comes to like Mathili, it is a very like heavy or a sapa version like thik che, thik che. It has a very impactful tone, you can say. Now we come to the like a very good title, Jha. Now we'll say in Hindi, it has a very decent and soft sound like joke, joke. It has a very. But when it comes to Mathili, it has a like added puff of here, like making it sound like jha. So that is the basic difference you will have been understanding. Like joke, it is a very softer tone. But when it comes to Mathili, it is like jha. Okay. So similarly goes with the Gaya and Arai things. Okay. So let's move on to the next thing. I hope you would have got the differences between Mathili and Hindi. Now we'll be discussing about differences between Hindi and Bengali. Now first thing is ka, K-A-Ka. In Hindi, the consonant K is pronounced with a hard sound as in kite, like kite. Okay. But when it comes to Bengali, it's a khite, softer, breathier sound, khite. Okay. Now when it comes to SHA, okay, like sip, you have to pronounce, you'll be pronouncing it like sa, sip, sip. Sharp hissing sound. But same when it comes to Bengali, as I discussed earlier to the sopno thing, it means it has a very soft sound, like sopno, sopno. But when it is sip, it was like hissing sound. TA. Now it when it comes to TA in Hindi, it is like top, very heavy effect it does produce. In Bengali, it has TO sound had as a very softer version, like softer, breezier version you can say, like tobu. Similarly goes with the last two things too. Now we move on to the reasons for the difference. Okay, so first thing is regional accents. So obviously the pronunciation do vary across the regions, across many regions. Like when it comes to Bengali, like Bengali of Kolkata and Bengali of local places like Dankuni or Haldia might vary. So it is example of regional accents, you can say. Like even in United States, there are notable differences in pronunciation between the Northeast, South, Midwest, and West. And even in, you can say, take an example of Britain. If you will hear to people of Manchester and hear to people of Birmingham, you will feel the difference, like in the tone of English. It is English only, it is British English only, but there is a regional difference. Now it comes to language differences. So pronunciation can also differ based on the language spoken. Like, for instance, many English speakers may struggle with the pronunciation of French R sound, okay, which is formed in the back of the throat. Now, I'll be taking example like actually when it comes to Hindi. Now, suppose you are a Hindi speaker, okay, and you don't know English very well, so you'll have it will have its effect on the English words too, like Hindi effect. Like the word is stable, okay, and the Hindi speakers will come and they will pronounce stable. So that is the difference the Hindi speakers can have in the English language. So that is the language differences. Now it comes to cultural influences. Okay, so the emphasis of the U sound in Japanese and in English word is different. Like, for example, the language emphasizes the U sound, which results in Japanese people pronouncing English that words that contain U with extra emphasis added. Okay, so okay, now we'll be moving on to the. We have seen the three major effects or the reasons for the difference in pronunciation. Now we'll be moving on to historical and social factors. Like take an example in India. India was colonized by British. Okay, so we do have a very huge impact of British's tone in our English. Okay, uh, these are the major things. Like whole India and Asia was colonized by British. So even our English is very similar to the what British speak. And additionally, some social factors such as socio-economic class or class level of education may vary too. Like level of education may vary your tone too. Now we'll be moving on to the conclusion part. Finally, we can say that pronunciation differs widely between cultures, with each language having its own distinct set of sounds and rules for combining them. Language is inherently cultural actually, okay, as it reflects these norms and factors in both subtle and explicit way. A language may develop sayings that reflect cultural norms, slang terminology that reflects cultural trends, or even syntax that reflects cultural benefits. Like even we call when we consider dialects are social or regional variations which do come. Okay, this might result in accents or pronunciation variances that are specific to their ethnic background. Like if you will consider when people from different cultures learn to speak a second language, like if I am a Hindi speaker and when I learn to speak a second language, we do have I'll have a predisposition to pronounce words in a way that mimics my native language phonetic patterns. Like if I am a naturally Hindi speaker, then I'll have my effect of Hindi speaking phonetic patterns in my English too. Like I said you the example like uh, pronouncing table as table. Do Hindi speakers do that? Accepting these differences can assist enhance cultural understanding and respect, as well as making language learning more. So it becomes really important to do respect and understanding these differences, because suppose people from different linguistic background or cultural regional background come to you and you have to manage them. So if you won't understand and respect the different pronunciation of them, so you can't actually make your learning more enriching and gratifying. Okay, so that becomes really important. So with this, I'll be ending the video. I hope you did like it. And so this was the topic about the variation of different pronunciation in different languages and culture. We discussed everything. So we would like to, I would like to thank you to show the patience of watching that video. I would like to thank my team too for assisting me in the whole process, for making the whole slides and making it so well for you guys to understand. So I'll be thanking Sunitra Ghosh, Priya Kumari, Shruti Narayan, and Shaumindeep Das for thanking me. So thank you so much.